FOMC meeting is on May 7th, okay? So right now it's priced in that there's not going to be a rate cut. And sure, there will probably be some, there's going to be some de-risking heading into FOMC, but I'm not worried about that. That de-risking is going to be your opportunity to actually load up on positions, because what you're going to see happen right after FOMC, once they show that nothing's broken, they don't scare anybody, they don't say anything insane, which we'll see what Jerome does. But as long as they don't do anything stupid, as soon as FOMC meeting's over, you're going to see markets fly, because for the next meeting, it's already priced in that there's going to be a rate cut. There's still being priced in for this year. So anything that you could possibly look at to be bullish or bearish, all indicators, all macro signs, everything that you would want to be, what the fuck, dude, that you would want to be bullish on is bullish right now. That's just the reality of it. And so in all the charts, the way that they got floored out over the last couple of months, just such an aggressive downtrend, such an aggressive de-risking due to the tariffs, you're going to see a similar price action to the upside. That's just the reality of it. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So for markets to be able to tank that fucking hard for 3 months straight, that means that they could also rip that hard for 3 months straight. So I'm expecting green in May, expecting green in June, expecting green in July at the very least. And it's going to be contingent upon that we don't have a complete breakdown or a complacency shoulder form on equities and on Bitcoin. So finally we're getting some relief, which is good, okay? Now we need follow through. So on Bitcoin, what made me super, what is this lady doing? She's gonna get hit. We need follow through on Bitcoin. So Bitcoin right now, it reclaimed its macro range, which is what we had been talking about on stream for the past couple months. We said we need to get back above the bull market trend line, which we did. Then we need to reclaim the macro range above, and we did. Now we've been sitting inside of it and did multiple daily closes inside of the macro range up top. Huge. Because if you reclaim the range like that, then you would expect to hit range highs again, okay, at the very least. The only issue, the only sticky price that we have to be watching for is going to be 96,500 on Bitcoin. So I'm going to say it again. 96,500 on Bitcoin is going to be the price you want to watch. I'm just walking across the street, dude. Fuck this. This has been the longest wait time to try to cross the fucking street. Hang on. Let's see if you guys see me get tanked on stream here. Alright, fuck these guys. So the sticky price is going to be 96,500 because that's our naked point of control for that range where most of the volume took place. And so most people are going to be defending their positions there because they're either short from there or they're long from there. Either or, that's going to get defended. It's going to be a sticky point to get past. So we got to get above 96,500 so that we don't form a complacency shoulder on Bitcoin. And on equities, we also need to start reclaiming levels, okay? Now, we've seen it in the past where crypto will lead equities off the floor. This happened in the bear market at the beginning of this cycle. You take a look at the Bitcoin chart, you look at the equities chart from the bear market, 2022, 2023, when we were coming out of it. Bitcoin actually set a higher low and started trending up as equities set a lower low. So they became decoupled for a moment and crypto actually let off the ground. So we're seeing a potential move like that right now where equities are not performing quite as well. And so crypto actually led. Is this open? Nice. Crypto actually led off the floor and should be signaling a market bottom. So right now, I believe the bottom's in on crypto at the very least, okay? If we did come back down lower on something like Ethereum or Bitcoin, because we are going to set a higher low at some point. I don't expect it to be a new low on something like Ethereum. So don't stress out about that. The other big point of confluence is on the others chart. I don't know if I can share my screen on my phone. I'll figure it out. But so the others chart had completely floored out. We kept getting suppressed by a trend line from the Pico top in December on the others chart. This is our altcoin chart. We finally, and I drew the arrows beautifully, we broke the downtrend, which is huge, right? Because we respected this trend all the way down. We broke the downtrend, popped up, and we tagged the mid-range of our macro multi-year range from last cycle, okay? So we came up, we popped up, we tagged it perfectly at the mid-range. That's that pump you saw on altcoins this past weekend, right? On Friday. That was that pump. So now, naturally, we're getting our pullback. Like I said, we flipped that downtrend. We broke through that resistance. Now we're going to come back down and tag it again and flip it into support, right? So that's the pullback that you saw the last day or two. So you're going to likely see a pullback into that trend line going into FOMC as people de-risk, right? People are trying to take profits too early and they're trying to, sell their positions even or only down a little bit because they're afraid. So you're going to see it come back down and test that trend line, which I've sent in the Discord multiple times. When you hit that trend line, that's when you shove, okay? Because you flip that shit into support, it's going to bounce off of that shit, rip through the mid-range of that macro 4-year range that we have drawn on the others chart. We're going to go to range highs, okay, which is back where we were at in December. That will be range highs. And then finally, because this will be like the third or fourth tap of that macro range, you're going to break through. Once you break through, that's all season. Because then others market cap will be at new all-time highs. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that others chart to break out to new all-time highs and hit our 1.618 on the fibs. So here's why this is important, because the cycle isn't topped out until you hit new highs. And so back in 2021, whenever we hit the top of that range, and we set the top of that range twice, that's where we rejected from. And then this cycle, 4 years later, we did it. We front ran it the first time in May when others had ripped in 2024. And then the second time that we had hit it was December 2024, right? We tagged the top of the range. Eventually, when you rip up and you hit the top of that range, you're going to get a breakout. That breakout is alt season, right? So that's what we're waiting on. Now, you just got to make sure you're positioned from the lows. You don't want to be the guy buying at the Pico top. You want to be the guy waiting to buy at the Pico top when everything's at new all-time highs and being the exit liquidity for me and the crew inside the Discord. So, I should find a spot to sit at. Figure it out. So, anyways, that's where we're at on those charts. So, you can see now the clear winners are what? For altcoins, the clear winners right now are Farcoin, and base Farcoin, okay? So I made position in those. I talked about that inside of the Discord. So now I'm talking about it on YouTube again. If you want to be positioned in these assets before they start ripping 2-3x off the floor, which Farcoin and these other coins have, then you got to be inside the Discord.